Mark Hoppus answers the age-old mystery. Is Matt Skiba still in the band? As I Lay Dying guitarist Nick Hippo reportedly leaves the band, and Shinedown breaks an amazing record. Stick with us. Good afternoon and welcome to Rockfeed. Thanks so much for joining us. If you're new here, please consider subscribing with notifications on. A majority of those of you who watch this show every day are not subscribed, and the best way to support the show is just hitting that subscribe button. Anyways, congratulations to Shinedown. They have broken an amazing record. They are now the all-time record holder for the Billboard Mainstream Rock Songs chart. They now have the most #1 songs in the history of rock music. If you can believe that, Atlas Falls has now hit #1 on the rock charts. This is their 17th #1 as well on Mediabase's active rock charts. And so Shinedown frontman Brent Smith had this to say. He says, "Myself, Barry, Zach, and Eric are beyond humbled. Atlas Falls represents so many emotions. The success of this song would have never been achieved if it wasn't for the audience, the fans, the family, the people. I want to personally thank not only our management, Indigoot Entertainment, our label, Atlantic Records, our incredible partners at Radio, and Direct Relief for giving us the inspiration to release this song. We share the #1 with the whole world, and we want to thank you so much. Don't give up now. There's already so much at stake." So congratulations to Shinedown there on that, and hopefully many more to come. And moving on, Motley Crue bassist Nikki Sixx is answering the age-old question, who is the most underrated bass player of all time? And fortunately for the world, Nikki Sixx has an answer. It's himself. When he was tagged in a tweet, a fan responded saying that Nikki Sixx is the most underrated bassist of all time, and Nikki Sixx agreed with them. As you can see from Noise Creep over here, you've got this fan who tagged Nikki Sixx. It says, "Who's the most underrated bass player?" And Nikki Sixx, of course, said me. He was also answering questions, asking what he's working on. He says he's writing a book. A couple things floating around in my head. HD is on hold as all live events. Motley Tour on hold. Got some great stuff coming. Now, we know that Motley Crue has rescheduled their stadium tour for next year, and the word on the street out there is that Vince Neil is getting in shape, so this gives them more time to do that, and hopefully these guys, and I'm sure they will be, they'll be ready to roll when touring season comes around next year. System of a Down drummer John Domayan is speaking about politics once again, and this time he is speaking about what he feels is an effort to get the president out of office by any means necessary. He has been posting political things for quite some time now, and it has stirred up quite a bit of controversy, to say the least. And he posted this armband on his Instagram. I'm going to pull this up, and it is an armband that says "cheat to win." And he says, "To win by any means necessary: fraud, murder, extortion, race baiting, dividing the people, distorting facts, angling, lying, inciting violence, erasing history, attacking religious beliefs, and much, much more. It's all worth it if we win." The mantra of the power brokers. You'll be seeing and hearing a lot about the USPS in the coming weeks, hearing from people in high places, many of which couldn't tell you where the inside of the post office looks like. There's a battle going on. Biden is a weak candidate at best, and for those who despise Donald Trump, getting him out of office by any means necessary is far more important than our electoral process. Those on both sides who would burn this country to the ground if they can't have it in their image. Don't be one of them. If you don't like the president or anyone else in power, vote with your convictions. If a candidate you don't like wins, accept that and hope for the best for this country. We must hold our leaders accountable. We must have a third party, and we must stop destruction and civil war of thought and deed. Lastly, we must defund the media that is crippling all of us with sensationalistic fear-mongering. They are owned and operated by the same elites many of you are trying to desperately condemn. Be leaders, not followers, and set an example for the next generation, because they are watching you and they are learning from you. Teach them to be high moral character. And so once again, he's sharing his opinion. From what I've seen in the comments, half of you agree with him, half of you don't agree with him. But the point is that I have seen some respectful discussion going on there, and that is always important. So, John Domayan, it's clear he's not getting kicked out of system anytime soon. Serge has made that very clear. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe eventually after the election is over, they'll maybe work on some new music and stop posting online so much. All right, folks, we got to talk about As I Lay Dying. Their guitarist Nick Hippa has reportedly left the band, and a lot of people are wondering why. Lambgoat broke the story where they have said that their sources close to the band are confirming that he's no longer a member of the group. And this is also evidenced by the fact that the band is no longer following him on Instagram and he's no longer following them. Now, normally that would sound silly, but the band only followed 5 people and Nick was one of them, and they unfollowed him, and it's just the other members of the group. So do with that what you will. But here's what Lambgoat had to say in their report. They wrote, "Earlier today it came to our attention that a few things have recently transpired with regard to the social media realm of As I Lay Dying that suggest Nick Hippa had some sort of falling out with the band. Most notably, the official As I Lay Dying Instagram account previously followed all 5 members of the band. As of today, however, As I Lay Dying no longer follows Nick Hippa. Moreover, Hippa used to follow vocalist Tim Lambesis on Instagram, but no longer does. In fact, he currently follows neither the band nor a single member of the band. Likewise, none of their members follow Hippa on Instagram. Given these developments, we put out some industry feelers regarding Hippa's status with the band, and Lambgoat can now confirm that he is not currently an active member of As I Lay Dying. Now, this is interesting because the band reformed in 2018, and obviously with Tim Lambesis being released from prison on parole, he served his time for that incident. I think everyone is aware of what went on with that, and there were a lot of folks, including Tim himself and his bandmates, who said, you know, he's really working on change. He's really working on bettering himself. And by all accounts, I must say, it does look like he's been trying to do that. Their album that came out, it was well received by fans. They've gone on multiple tours. Those have been well received by fans. And the music community, whether you agree or not, they do seem to be very forgiving of Tim for the most part. And so with that aside, it's interesting to see Nick exit the band because Nick was arguably one of the most vocal members of the band when it came to his criticism of Tim Lambesis. He said in an interview back in 2016 roundabout that Nick Hippa felt like Tim Lambesis hadn't changed. He said that he felt like he was the same guy from when he was originally charged, and then just 2 years later they reformed. And so the question remains why he left the group so far, and it's been a couple days now since this report surfaced. We haven't heard anything from Nick, but we wish everybody in the band all the best, and hopefully whatever's going on, they're able to work it out. But we'll let you know if we hear anything either way from As I Lay Dying or Nick. At some point, I would imagine that they're going to establish what the membership status is of the band. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. And last but certainly not least, we've got an update for you on the Blink-182 situation. If you haven't been following, the last couple of singles from Blink-182 have been very much limited in their the feature of Matt Skiba. They did a song with Oliver Tree, and the album art from that only featured Mark Hoppus and Travis Barker. It didn't feature Matt Skiba on the cover, and it listed them as Blink-182. And then the song Quarantine doesn't feature any vocals from Matt Skiba, and he's only briefly featured in the music video. And so there's a lot of speculation, including from myself, going on regarding the status of Matt Skiba in the band, and Mark Hoppus has provided a very thoughtful explanation as to what is going on with the status, and to be honest, it sounds perfectly reasonable, and this is what he had to say while he was doing an Instagram Q&A with his fans.
Any word about this EP at Summer's End? Anything you can tell us? We're working on it today. Matt is going back into the studio with John today to work on more songs. I think we have a track listing. We still need to finish these songs, get them mixed. We're a ways away still, but we are. Matt Skiba just texted, it was great. I asked Matt how it was working with John yesterday. He said it was great. Yeah, these songs are dope. You guys are in for some dope new Blink-182 music, and then hopefully the nearest future. Hey Mark, Matt is back to record the EP. Yes, Matt went into the studio yesterday and worked with John for a bunch of hours on a bunch of new songs that we have. Is Matt still in Blink? I hope so, because he was in the studio recording for Blink yesterday, so I hope he's still in the band. Matt Skiba just texted, it was great. So Matt's not out of the band because the song called Quarantine was probably written in quarantine, right? Yes, that is correct. We wrote that song very early on. I think it was either end of March or early April when we wrote that song. And I have a studio. My studio is at my house, so I was able to record my parts. And obviously Travis has his studio, and Matt doesn't have a studio. So we recorded it, and, you know, we texted Matt about getting on the song. And he was like, you know, I don't want to go into a studio, and I'm taking quarantine seriously. And of course we respect that. And so that's why he's not on that song, but he's in the video.
Fair enough. Seems like a pretty fair explanation to me. He's cleared that up. He has obviously very much cleared that up. And even more so, we're looking at getting new Blink music, which is also very exciting and something to look forward to. It sounds like it's going to be an EP as opposed to a deluxe edition of their last album. So keep an eye out for that in the very near future. It's something to be excited about. And folks, that is all for now. Thanks so much for joining us today at Rockfeed. If you're new here, please consider subscribing with notifications on. Really helps the channel so you don't miss out on breaking news and updates. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you all very soon.